You apply for tax clearance because you need a tender, funding, or an important client contract. Everything feels urgent. The opportunity is on the table. Then SARS says your business is not compliant. That is when many business owners panic. But here is the scary part. The problem usually did not start on the day you applied. It may have been building quietly for months. Quick transparency note before we continue. I am Sia's digital twin, here to explain SARS and business compliance topics simply. The real Sia wrote the technical direction for this video. A tax clearance, or tax compliance status, is basically SARS checking whether your tax profile looks clean enough to issue a compliant status. These days, SARS uses the tax compliance status system and a PIN. But SARS is not only looking at one thing. It is not only asking, did this business pay tax this month? It is looking at your full compliance profile. It's looking at returns, payments, penalties, registrations, taxpayer details, and sometimes records that do not match properly. So if your tax clearance is declined, do not immediately assume the whole business is collapsing. But also do not ignore it. Treat it like a warning light. For example, the warning light on your car does not give the full diagnosis. It tells you to open the bonnet and check what is really happening. Reason number 1, outstanding returns. This is one of the most common reasons a business can look non-compliant. And the frustrating part is this. You can owe SARS paperwork even if you owe SARS no money. For example, your company may have an income tax return that was never submitted. Or maybe the business is VAT registered and missed a VAT return. Or there is an old PAYE period sitting on the profile. The owner then says, "But I do not owe SARS anything." That may be true. But SARS may still be saying, "Submit the return first, then we can see whether money is owed." So if tax clearance is declined, do not only check the balance, check whether every required return has actually been submitted. Reason number 2, unpaid tax debt. Your business may have unpaid income tax, VAT, PAYE, penalties, or interest sitting on the SARS profile. Sometimes the original tax amount is not even the biggest issue. A business misses a payment, penalties and interest are added, another return becomes due. Suddenly, a small issue becomes a visible compliance problem. This is where timing hurts. The owner only discovers the problem when the tax clearance is urgently needed. Maybe the tender deadline is close. By then, the tax issue has become an opportunity issue. Before we continue, if your tax clearance has already been declined and you are not sure what SARS is seeing, you can book a compliance review with us. The link is in the description. Reason number 3, penalties and interest. A business owner may think, I paid the main tax, so I should be fine. But the SARS profile may still show penalties and interest from older periods. It could be late submission penalties, late payment penalties, or interest that built up over time. And old issues do not always stay quietly in the past. They can appear at the worst time, when you need a clean compliance status. So do not only look at the latest return, pull the statements, check older balances, look for small amounts, admin penalties, and interest that may be blocking the profile. Reason number 4, registration issues. This is where it gets tricky. Your business may be registered for a tax type that you forgot about. VAT, PAYE, income tax, provisional tax, dividends tax, or another tax type may still be active on the SARS profile. And once it's active, SARS expects ongoing compliance. For example, the business may have registered for PAYE years ago because it had employees. Later, payroll stopped, but the registration was never cleaned up. SARS still expects returns. Or the business registered for VAT, stopped trading actively, but never dealt with the VAT registration properly. The owner thinks, we are not really using it anymore. SARS sees returns due. The better question is not only, what tax do I owe? The better question is, which tax types is my business registered for, and what does SARS expect from each one? Reason number 5, mismatched SARS records. Sometimes the issue is not only a return or a debt, sometimes the records do not line up properly. Company details, banking details, addresses, representative taxpayer details, and tax type information can all create delays when they are outdated or incorrect. These issues may not feel as dramatic as unpaid VAT or PAYE, but they can still slow down resolution when you are trying to fix compliance quickly. So what should you do if a tax clearance is declined? Do not guess. Do not only look at one tax type. Do not assume it is only unpaid tax. Pull the SARS profile. Check every registered tax type. List every outstanding return. Pull the statements of account. Confirm the debt, penalties, interest, and representative taxpayer details. Then deal with the root cause. Maybe the solution is to submit returns, pay the correct amount, dispute an incorrect amount, or request a payment arrangement. The key lesson is this: a declined tax clearance is usually a symptom, not the full problem. SARS is showing you that something is not clean. Your job is to find what SARS is seeing before the tender, funding application, or client deadline becomes urgent. So do not wait until you need the PIN. Check your SARS profile before the opportunity arrives. And if your tax clearance has already been declined, book a compliance review with us using the link in the description. Because losing a tax clearance is bad, but losing a tender, funding opportunity, or major client because of a fixable compliance issue is even worse.